This evening we're real pleased to have with us Adam Hutchins, PA, who's coming from Albany, and he can tell you about his background in a more interesting fashion than I can. But he's had quite a few years of good experience, and is a partner in a sort of South Georgia firm, and we're just real fortunate to have him be willing to come and share some of his insights and experiences with us.
Well, thank y'all. I'm grateful to be here. Thank Carol and Susan for the opportunity. Susan and I are former co-workers. We sat down in the hall from each other about 10 years ago. So it's good to see Susan. What's I guess age ranges or we early counting, late? Is it a mixture as far as?
It's a mixture from intermediate 1 to auditing, and then we have some folks online too that are watching.
Okay, so a good mix.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. My goal, what I'll do today is just kind of give y'all some things. I wasn't too terribly long ago that I was kind of where you are, going through school and kind of deciding what I want to do, and give you some things that I either learned when I was in your position or wish I had learned when I was in your position that you can implement now that'll benefit you long term in your career, whether you go into public accounting or not, whether you go into private industry, whether you don't go into accounting at all. I want to try to give you some things that are pretty beneficial to you. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is kind of give you my story, give you my background. I think it's important for you to understand why I do what I do, why I chose to do this. To understand my story, where I came from. Tell you a little bit about our firm, what we do, and kind of how we do it. Then touch on a few things. Hopefully, you can take something from it. You can implement now. It'll benefit you long term. That's my ugly face right there. Susan said, I'm from Albany. I work in Albany. I'm a partner with Hutchins Clinic from Hutchins. I'm the partner in charge of our Albany office. I'm married. My wife's name is Ashley. She's a full-time mom, part-time pharmacist. She spends most of her time chasing around our 3 sons. My oldest is David, who's 10. Cullen, who's my 7-year-old. Thomas, who's youngest in the house of 2, but he is the boss of the house. He tells us all what to do and when to do it and how to do it. So he came a little later down the road, so he tells us all how things are going to be. So. My story, I'm from Blakely, Georgia originally. Anybody know Blakely? Got some Blakely? All right. Grew up in Blakely, went to a little small high school in Damascus, Southwest Georgia Academy. Y'all know? Okay. So I'm a SGA grad, graduated from SGA in May of 2010. SGA's got a special place in my heart. The people there are still very close to me. A lot of my friends from high school are still good friends of mine now. So a lot of great memories from there. I graduated in 2000 and went to the University of Georgia. So I went from a school that had average enrollment of 300 K4 through 12 to a school that's got 35,000 students. And my first class was some economics class, and I walk in, and it's a room with 600 people. So my first class had double the enrollment of my entire school. So it was quite a bit of a culture shock. I went to UGA for one reason only. That was for football. That's one reason I went. I didn't look anywhere else. Didn't consider anywhere else. I love UGA football, so I was going to UGA for the football team. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I went there. No idea what I wanted to major in. Now, I will tell you, my dad is a CPA. My granddad is a CPA. My uncle is a CPA, and my younger sister, who graduated from here 7 or 8 years ago, is also a CPA. There were a lot of CPAs in my family, but I had no intentions of being a CPA when I went to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I kind of got in. I knew I wanted to do something business related, so kind of where some of y'all are now. I took a couple early accounting classes, and decided that's probably something I felt I could do. So I got applied for business school. Got in accounting as my major. At UGA, the way it works is once you get to the business school, you choose your major, you apply for the master's program. So if you get into the accounting school, they have a special master's program that integrates in with your undergraduate program. So you actually take undergraduate classes and graduate classes at the same time. So I got into UGA's J.M. Toll School of Accounting. I got into the graduate program. So I graduated in August of 2005 with both my undergraduate degree and my graduate degree at the same time. Also, once you get in the graduate program, you choose an emphasis. You either choose an art emphasis or a tax emphasis. Well, my dad was a CPA, so I relied on can, kind of give me some guidance on where to go there. And so he steered me, so I graduated with an emphasis in taxation. So all that means is I took more tax-based classes when I got my master's than I did in audit-based classes. So graduated in 2005 from UGA. And I'll talk more about this later, but I did an internship in Atlanta with Mullen and Jenkins in their Atlanta office when I was in about a year and a half before I graduated. They had an internship program. I did that. Well, that turned into a full-time job opportunity. So when I graduated, I elected to move back to Albany. I worked in their Albany office. My wife's from the area as well. She wanted to move back here as well, so we moved to Albany. And that's where I worked with Mullen and Jenkins in August of 2005. Now, how things work out sometimes when, and Susie can speak to this, at M&J, they have especially for specific groups that have a long-term schedule that kind of shows you what jobs, who you're working with over an extended period of time. But when I first started, I was assigned to Water, Gas, and Light, Albany Water, Gas, and Light Utilities Company, a nonprofit audit was my first job I was assigned on. Well, there was some scheduling conflicts and something happened, so I got bumped to a bank audit job in Darien, Georgia. I got moved there. So I went, my first engagement when I was, my first full-time job, or full-time point of employment was a bank audit job. Well, after that, for the next 5 years, 99.9% of everything I did was banking related. Susan will tell you, we spent a lot of time on the road. I spent a lot of time all over Georgia, Florida Panhandle, a lot of time in Savannah, the Savannah area, auditing financial institutions, auditing banks. It was all I did for about 5 years. And back then, we were gone a lot. Susan will tell you, from October to about the end of April, we were on the road traveling. Great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I really enjoyed it. Well, I guess March of 2008, my wife and I had our first son, David, and so traveling stuff, even without kids, and you have kids, traveling really becomes, at least for me, it became difficult. It's hard to be gone when you got little ones at home. So I, kind of started to get a little burned out with travel because it was pretty extensive for a while there. With that, I told you my dad's CPA. My dad was a partner in a firm in Blakely, and so they actually had a banking practice that they managed as well. He had 3 other partners, and so they were kind of getting filled up with what they could do. They were maxed out, so they were needing some help. So kind of worked out. He and I were talking. I was kind of explaining my desire to get off the road a little bit and be home some. He was explaining how they needed some help. So it worked out where in August of 2010, I left M&J and went to what is now Hutchins, Kentucky, with the sole purpose of managing their banking practice. Which is, if you look back, I wasn't even supposed to be on a bank job the first day I started work. Happenstance, I got moved to one, and those 5 years of experience set me up where I can manage the banking practice for Hutchins, Kentucky, which is where we are now. When I joined the firm, we were Hutchins, Brown and Hall. We had one office in Blakely. I still lived in Albany, but I would commute or I did a lot of stuff remotely. So we were single office firm, based out of Blakely. Well, it was about probably November 2012. Another former coworker of mine and Susan's, a guy named Daniel Rumsey. Daniel's been a good friend of mine. Daniel went to Daniel's from Cordell, went to Crisp Academy. I knew him in high school. Went to Georgia with me. We worked at Mullen Jenkins together. We were great friends. And so he left M&J right after I did and went and bought all his dad's practice in Cordell. And so, we wanted to kind of grow and do some different things. And so I placed a call to him. I was in Pearson, Georgia, working at a bank, and inquired if they had any interest in maybe merging. And so, one thing led to another, and in June of 2013, we formed Hutchins, Kentucky. At that point in time, we had 2 locations. We had a location in Blakely, and then we had a location in Cordell. Throughout all this, I've always lived in Albany. I never moved. Even when I left M&J, I stayed in Albany. Well, we kind of saw some opportunities to open up an office in Albany. We thought it was a good market, a good mix for us. So in January 2015, we acquired a practice in Albany and opened up our Albany location. So we've been in Albany for 4 years this month, and it's been a great move for us. And also just this month, we have opened up our 4th location in Clayton, Georgia. That is a smaller tax practice. We've got one of our partners who spends a lot of time up there, and we acquired a practice up there, so that's our 4th location. When you look at the makeup of our firm, you look at the makeup of accounting firms in general. You've got what you would consider your larger international firms, your Big 4 firms, your KPMGs, your PwCs, your Ernst & Youngs. Those are the big boys. Those are the ones who have offices all over the world. Then you have your national firms, your firms with offices located just in the continental U.S. Dixon Hughes Goodman, Carr Riggs and Ingram. Those are larger firms with offices all over the country. Then you have your regional firms like an M&J that have offices within a geographic sector, just the Southeast or maybe just the Midwest. We're a large local firm. We're located just in the state of Georgia. We have 4 offices. We have 25 employees, including 9 CPAs, and our partner group has 6 members. So we're a larger local firm. We have a lot of resources for a firm our size. Energy served, I got financial solutions first because that's a lot of what I do. Our banking practice, we do a lot of work for banks. Y'all probably heard about this financial crisis thing, happened about 10 years ago now. Financial crisis occurred, government got bigger, regulations got bigger, our banking practice got bigger because we're having to do a lot of stuff for banks outside of just auditing them. So that's probably 70 to 75% of my time is spent with financial institutions. About the other 25-30% is spent with what we call general service type work, tax, bookkeeping, use comps, that sort of thing. But we do a lot of work for financial institutions. Manufacturing, healthcare, we got a good sized nonprofit audit practice, do a lot of work for nonprofits. Agriculture, obviously Southwest Georgia agriculture is a big part of our firm. Our Blakely office is, I don't know the percentage, but it's largely dependent upon agriculture, from one way or another. Big impact on that office and our area in general. A lot of industries, that's just a few to name, which all our offices covered some of those one way or another. And then service provided, accounting services, that's typical bookkeeping type thing, and consulting and advisory, that's going to be consulting on a merger and acquisition or some kind of tax matter. Tax service, your typical tax returns, that sort of thing. And audit reviews, compilations, there should be preparations out there too. That's a new service that was added last year. So that's a quick rundown. I want to kind of give you my history, talk to you a little bit about our firm. The main areas I want to discuss are these things here. Once again, these are things that I feel like you can take some stuff and implement now that'll benefit you long term, no matter where you go, what you do. Okay. The first one up there is communication skills. You're probably thinking you're a CPA, you sit in your office all day, you do tax returns, crunch numbers, you prepare financial statements, you don't talk to people. Well, I'm going to tell you, I put that at the top of the list for a reason, because that I can't express. Susan and Kerry can tell you how important communication skills are, especially in our industry, especially what we do. Now, they're going to be important no matter what you decide to do, but I spend as much time, if not more, talking with clients, meeting with boards, meeting with audit committees, emailing clients, texting clients, than I do doing accounting work. Okay? Communication skills, having good communication skills are going to be very, very important when you enter the workforce. A few things, when I mean communication skills, I don't mean doing what I'm doing now. I don't mean public speaking. I don't mean teaching seminars. I mean just one-on-one conversations with coworkers, with clients, emailing people. So much of what we do revolves around that. Okay, and it's very, very important to develop good communication skills. Another thing, don't think you got to be an expert communicator when you leave college. Okay, a lot of this is learned throughout employment. Okay, I've been doing it for 13 years, and I'm still picking up things that are important. Okay, that are key. So it's a learning process. So don't think you got to leave here tonight and start taking speech classes or go take English. That's not what I mean. I do want you to learn how important it is. Understand how important it is, though. And lastly, some people are better communicators than others just naturally. Some people are made in a way where they like to talk to people. Well, they're better at it than some others. This is going to require some work for some, but I just want you to understand how important it is, even in our profession. We do it a lot. Okay, so what are some things you can do now? Now, when I'm talking about verbal communication skills. One thing you can do is what you're doing tonight. Get out of your comfort zone. Put yourself in professional settings where you're forced to talk to people in a professional environment. You wouldn't have to do it otherwise. Okay, it's easy to kind of get in your comfort zone and hang out with your friends, but put yourself in these kind of situations where you have to do it. Because day one, your first job, you're going to be with new coworkers. You're going to be pushed to a client, and you're going to have to engage in conversation or explain something to them. And you better do it in a professional manner. So doing what you're doing tonight's a good practice tool that you can implement. Civic organizations, nonprofit organizations, fraternities, sororities, get involved in that stuff. Okay? Anything to get you out of your comfort zone, to put you around other groups of people, to force you to talk to new people, communicate in a way that you may not do it with your close circle. Okay, do that sort of stuff. It's really, really, really be helpful. So it's really important. Y'all have career fair. Y'all have is that in the fall?
I think there's one in both semesters.
Okay. Career fairs, meet the firms, whatever. Go to them. Talk to CPA firm representatives. Talk to businesses out of there. Go to them. Engage in conversation. See how they talk to you. I don't want to sound like there's normal talk and then there's work talk, but there is things you have to do and learn to do when you're talking in a professional setting. So go to these things and pick up on these things and implement them. Lastly, one thing I did when I was in your position, and I've had a lot of students over the years who have come to me, is go to your dad's CPA, your mom's CPA, or if your friend's dad's CPA. Go and talk to them. Interview them, ask them what it's like to do what they do. You visit their office, see how things go. All these are designed to help you pick up on what it's like to communicate and talk and be in a professional environment. Okay. Now, I've been talking about verbal communication skills. All honestly, in the world today is shifting a little bit away from that. It's because of technology. Everybody wants information 5 minutes ago. So I get a lot more emails and even texts with questions or needing things than I do phone calls. Okay? You can see it in our firm with the dynamics of, the older partners, their clients, they just show up at the office and want to talk to them. A lot of mine text me or email me. And so, they're needing information. Well, the problem with that type of communication, especially an email, is with an email, you cannot decipher tone. Okay? Like if you're talking to me, I can tell if you're mad or if you're just messing around or whatever. Email, that can be difficult, okay? And so a lot of these, you got to be really careful with your written correspondence. Now, when I was in school, this is much changed since then. Written correspondence was a letter. Writing a letter to a client or writing a letter to the IRS. Well, now written correspondence is email or text, okay? So tone is very important. And learning how to write an email in a professional manner is so important to your career. Okay? For example, if Susan sends me an email and says, "Hey, Adam, I'm taking my family to Hawaii on vacation. Can I deduct the cost of my family vacation on my 2019 tax return?" Okay. If I respond, I can respond no and just send it. I just write no and send it. I gave her the answer. Was that the most professional way to probably respond to that? No. What I probably should do is take 5 more seconds to say, "Hey, Susan, I hope all's well with your family. Now you cannot deduct the cost of your vacation to Hawaii on your personal tax return. Let me know if I can be of any further assistance. Have a great day." See the difference? Same answer delivered professionally and not professionally. And I promise you, people, the response that was just no, people do that. Okay? You get busy and you can lose sight of how important good, sound, professional communication skills are. Okay? And y'all are going to be even more on the email end and probably more on text. I get a lot of texts. You got to do it. I'm going to do LOL on a business text, okay? Or Try to limit the emojis on a business text if you can. Okay. It's kind of stuff that I can't express enough how important understanding how to communicate in a business environment is. I do a lot of it, but it takes a lot of practice.
I have a question. When you get text communications from clients that are reasonably important, how do you document this for the file or whatever?
I forward to my email.
You forward it to your email.
Forward email. Right. And so it'll have the message string on it, so we forward to our email. Now there are other applications, phone application where you can do a convert text to email as well. Everything that if it's anything important gets forwarded to email, so then we print it and document it and scan it. A lot of text messages. It's crazy. Yeah, now it's just a generational thing. Don't get a lot of it. Did you ever get text messages with clients questions? It's all phone calls, right? I mean, it was people showing up. It's just different now.
Right.
Different now. So, anything you can do. Like I said, once again, don't go out and take a bunch of speech classes and all minor in English. But just understand that it's important to understand how to communicate. You're going to have to do a lot of communicating. Initially, it'll be with coworkers, and as your career moves on, it'll be with clients that you'll be, or higher level executives that you're working with or for, that you're going to have to be able to communicate with in a competent, precise, professional manner. Okay. CPA exam. Now, this may be down the road for some. I think Susan says y'all had discussions on this with others. I don't want to get into the depths of the CPA exam. I don't like talking about it any more than I have to. It's painful memories. But I do want to say this. If you're going to go into accounting, get a 4-year accounting degree, I highly recommend getting your 150 hours and sit for the CPA exam. Okay? If you're going to if you plan on going to accounting at all, go ahead and get your 150 hours. Go ahead and sit for the exam. Okay? And if you can do it all together, now people's situations are different. Some people may be going back to school, but if you're in a position where you can get it all, not take any breaks, and take care of it, because I'm telling you, once you get out of that school mode, it's hard to get back in it. Okay, so try to, if you can do it, stick with it. Okay, and knock it all out and get it done. The importance of having having your license, being certified. Number one, you have so many more options with your career if you have your license. You have so much more control over your career if you have your license. Okay, if you're a CPA versus not being one, there's work CPAs can do that you can't do if you don't have your license. So much more control, so much more mobility. So go ahead, and if you're going to get an accounting degree, go ahead and get your license. Okay. Secondly, just be honest. If you have your license, your earnings potential for the life of your career is exponentially greater than if you don't have your license. Okay, and that's with anything. Anything you have to be licensed or certified to do, there's higher value with the product provided. Okay, so your earnings potential will be greater if you have your license than if you don't. Okay, it's tough. Go ahead and do it. Okay, you can do it. Now, the CPA exam. The difficulty with the CPA exam, Susan and Carol will tell you this, is in the depth of the information you're required to know. Okay? The CPA exam is not designed to be tricky or confusing or stump you. It's just so much stuff. Okay? Even like now you got financial accounting, you got tax, you got audit, you got cost accounting, it covers business law, it covers IT, it covers economics. It tells you a lot about our profession and what we're relied upon for. It covers so much stuff. Okay, but that's the difficulty is in the amount of material. It's not in the complexity of the exam. Okay, because the difficulty is in the amount of material. The difficult part for you is in preparation. Okay, Susan and Carol can tell you the studying stinks. Even with current format where you can take individual sections at a time, you can count on a good, even if you knock it all out, 8 to 12 months of your life work on CPA exam because of so much stuff. Okay, a couple things with that, and I didn't figure this out until I was about to graduate. But whether you're in your first accounting class or you're in your last one, you're prepped for the exam now. Because this stuff they're teaching you, these core principles, is going to be on the exam. or be subject to being on that exam. Okay? So the more you can take with you now, I know you're prepping for the test you may have on Friday, and that's your focus. And I'm not saying start studying for the exam. Just understand that this stuff, it will come back again. Okay? The better understanding you can get now, the better it will help you when you start prepping for that test. Okay? So, I didn't get that until I started studying for that exam. There was a couple things I was like, man, I wish I'd paid a little bit of attention 3 years ago. And that's not just accounting stuff. Remember, we're talking about your macroeconomics class. There's an economics section on the exam. You're in some IT class. There's an IT section, business law. So all this stuff, all this business stuff, you're going to see again. So the better graphs you can get now, get it. It'll benefit you. Secondly, and this is down the road for a lot of y'all. You're here for the exam. There's review courses out there. I did Becker. Do it. Okay. I can only speak for Becker. It's awesome, and if you'll do it, you'll pass. A couple things though, it's expensive. I think back when I was doing it, it was a couple $1,000 to pay for the review course. But I know, like, typically, if you're your employer, most will cover the cost of that for you. So, go ahead and line that up. And if you're sitting for the exam and you want to buy a review course, get it and work with your employer on some kind of reimbursement. Most will be willing to do that for you. Okay, do a review course. If you do Becker, if you do what they tell you to do, how they tell you to do it, you'll pass. I promise you. Okay, but you got to do it how they tell you to do it. A lot of my buddies tried to, save the money or didn't want to ask their employer to pay for it and try to get their own accounting books and just study on their own. That ain't gonna work. Susan, is that gonna work?
No.
I mean,
Not these days.
I couldn't even imagine trying to go that route. So there's review courses out there that are great. Make a note, whenever you get to that point, I can only speak for Becker, and it's awesome.
A lot of the review courses have some specials in the spring. So if you're thinking about it, you need to kind of pick 2 or 3 of them and watch their websites, because they will frequently offer specials in the spring for students that are, thinking they'll be graduating and wanting to work on it over the summer.
Right. So to sum all that up, get your 4-year degree, get your 150 hours. If you want to go into public accounting, if you want to go into accounting in general, get your license. Okay? It will benefit you for the rest of your career to have it. Internships. I spoke on this a little bit with mine. I did one when I was in Athens. Basically, what you did, you interned half a semester, you went back to school the other half a semester. So I interned in Atlanta for 2 months. I left that internship with a job offer. So I had a job a year before I was set to graduate. Okay. Internships are really, really good. They're really, really important for 2 reasons. Number one, it lets you take a test drive in the accounting profession. Okay. It gives you the opportunity to stick your toes in the water and put into practice what's in these books. And you get to see what you'll be doing once you begin full-time employment. Okay. Take a test drive with it. It's important. You can get a feel for, what the rest of your career may not exactly be like, but you at least get an opportunity to get a feel for it. I highly recommend it. Okay? If you can do it. Now, not everybody can do that. People's schedules may not line up, and they may be in a different position in life that can. If you can do it, do it. Most of the internships now pay. So you can find one that's paid. Now, most of them are occurring about this time of year. You may find some, depending on the firm and their workload type, maybe something in summer and fall, but most of them are going to be all around tax season. But if you can do one and it fits into your schedule and your time of life, definitely do one. The opportunity to test drive the car before you buy it. Secondly, an internship is an extended job interview. You get the opportunity, rather than having giving somebody a resume in a 15-minute conversation, you get the opportunity to audition for 2 months and show them your work ethic, show them your knowledge base, show them your communication skills. Okay. That's 2-3 month interview. And me as an employer, I love it. It's hard to read a resume sometimes, interview somebody, and you got to make a job decision. I get to watch you in action for 2 months, 3 months, to see how you work with others, how hard you work. Internships are, it's an extended job interview. and you get paid. Okay, so highly recommend y'all your career day, your career fair. Firms come. We'll try to get on the docket for one. Ask about an internship. Try to line one up. Work with your professors and see how that's going to work into your schedule. But if you can do one, highly recommend doing it. Okay, they are very common in the accounting profession now. A lot of firms do them. So I recommend trying to get an internship. Okay. Technology. Y'all know anything about technology? Our world is technology driven. Well, believe it or not, the accounting profession is technology driven. Everything we do is dependent upon technology. We talk about our office. If the technology doesn't work, we can't work. Okay, we are dependent on software. We're dependent on software applications to work. How we need them to work. We're dependent on the internet. Our firm, we got 4 locations. Our servers is in one of those. So if internet's down, we can't work. Technology drives our business. It is a key component of what we do. Now, talk about CPA exam. When I was studying for it, for the IT section, I'm learning about network configurations and server configurations and firewalls and all this junk. And I remember studying, I'm like, I'm never going to have to know this. Why am I reading about this stuff? It's an important part of what I do. Okay, I'm not in the IT business. We've got a group that does our IT work for us, but having a basic knowledge of general IT concepts is so important because our business is so reliant on it. Okay, you need to be able to, if something's not working, understand why. Or if a vendor's trying to sell you something, understand what they're trying to sell you. It's because we're so reliant on it, we have to understand it and how it works to a certain level. So, and I know y'all probably have to take some anyway, but any IT-based classes, anything you can take, number one, you're going to see some of that stuff get on CPA exam. Number two, your work life will be heavily dependent on it. So the more you can take from it, the more you can understand, it'll benefit you down the road. Okay. Once again, I don't mean get a minor in IT, but any knowledge you can take into full-time employment will benefit you exponentially. Okay. Second thing, Microsoft Office Suite. I'm going to focus on Microsoft Excel. I'm sure y'all use Word, Excel, stuff you do. I use Microsoft Excel every day. Every day. I'm not exaggerating. Everything, all of our core software applications, Excel's built in. Excel flows with what accountants do, and it has numbers. So, yeah. I took, and when I was getting my master's, I took an advanced Excel class. It was the hardest class I took when I was at UGA. The teacher was awful. It was mean. It was hard. I hated it. It was my last semester. When I got done, it's Excel. You would think Excel. It was so hard. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that teacher in that class. When I started M&J, I'm 23 years old, and partner gives me a project. I could, on my own, instinctively come up with stuff to do because I had taken that class. Okay, anything you can do to expand your Excel knowledge base. Any classes that are offered, whatever, or inside existing classes, do it. Microsoft Excel, by the time you get done, there may be something else, but I'm telling you right now, I don't see it happening. Microsoft Excel is a huge piece of what you will use when you're in full-time employment, not just accounting. Anything business related, you're going to use it. Okay? Build your knowledge base. It will prove very, very beneficial to you. Okay? Deadlines. Now, I put this on here for a couple reasons. Accounting profession revolves around deadlines. I'm an external due dates, and whether you got public companies have financial statement due dates and quarterly filing dates, and you got a client who's trying to buy something, you got to have something to them by a certain date. Everything we do, there's a due date. Everything. Sound familiar to y'all? In your life, revolve around due dates, deadlines, homework on a certain due date. project on a certain due date, test on a certain date. The accounting profession is the same way. We're built on deadlines. What I want to impart on y'all is the importance. Those who are most successful in our industry are the ones who are the best at managing deadlines. Okay? Same thing probably with where you are right now. Okay? When I mean managing deadlines, I mean preparation. Okay? I mean organization. Now, people are built differently. I'm one of those. I want it done a day before it's due. That's just my makeup. I'm not a deadline pusher. Some people need the stress. Okay, they push it. I'm sure this room is split between deadline pushers and those who want it done 4 days early. You just made that way. That's how you are. Okay, I want to tell you, the better you are at managing deadlines, okay, the better you are at preparing and being organized, the more successful you're going to be long term, especially in this profession. Okay, with a deadline, there's somebody who's needing something from you. Maybe a government agency, maybe the IRS, maybe the SEC, maybe your client who's trying to buy a house, okay, and needs his tax return or needs their financial statement. Somebody else is dependent upon that information source. Okay, so the better you are providing that to them, whoever it is, in a timely manner, in an efficient manner, the more successful you're going to be long term. Okay, those that are most successful in this business are those that are very, very good at deadline management. Okay, where you are now, you get a problem or you get a question on your test, it all kind of comes to you. You know, you have the problem, everything's kind of spelled out in nice, neat order, and you solve the problem. Susan, in reality, in the real world, you get bits and pieces in no particular order, okay, and you get some of it now, you ask for the rest, you may get it tomorrow, you may have to ask again, you got to get all that put together, and meet the deadline, okay. Women are better at this than guys are, because y'all are more organized, just honestly, okay, so you got to get organized, okay, it will prove very beneficial to your career. Okay, because your career, get in public accounting, even get private industry, it's going to be deadline driven. Okay. All right. Here's what I got. Stuff. That's all I got. But if you ask a question, you get a prize. All that.
I like that. I'm gonna have to start doing that in my class.
Yeah. I'm not sure. They may not want it, so I'm not showing it to them until they ask a question. First will be the guinea pig. Okay. Any questions?
What's the prize?
Well, that doesn't count as questions.
What's your hours like? Work?
I think Carol and Susan wanted to encourage y'all to go into accounting. I'm going to make this well, certain times a year, we work a lot of hours. You know, depending on what you do. If you're a tax person, up through April, you're working long hours. Now we work 6 days a week. You know, we're working Saturdays. But one thing that it gets back to this deadline thing. You know, I've got 3 boys at home. We play every sport you can play, and we're all over the place. And so I have to be organized, and I have to manage my time well, so I can get all my stuff done and get to that stuff. Okay, so hours are long, depending on the time of year, and depending on what you do. I was in Jay. I worked pretty heavy October through April, and the summers were slow. Right now I own a business, so my hours I control my hours more, but I do a lot of management in addition to accounting stuff. Okay, so accounting business is an hour-driven business. I mean, we're not just selling. We're not calling you selling a product. Okay, what we're selling is not a tangible product. We sell our hours. We sell our time. Okay, so there's hours involved, and depending on what area you're in, right now, general tax season, it's long hours.
Where are you located, Albany?
I'm on Westover. You know, surprise. All right. I got hats. I got koozie. Sure, that's where Diet Coke is around here. We're on Westover.
Okay.
So if you we describe it. There's Dr. Anna Valen's dental office right between her and Park Music. Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's a question.
don't have to.
You want a hat?
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You don't have to answer this, but did you pass the CPA exam the first time?
I will answer it because I did pass the exam. If I didn't, I wouldn't answer that question. I did, but now, here's how I did it. My last semester, I was going to my first year of college. I didn't make bad grades, but I got behind. Okay, my little high school, we didn't have AP classes, we didn't have that sort of stuff, and so all my buddies, all my friends had AP classes. So we're going to graduate my last semester. All my friends are graduating because they had AP classes and they were on schedule. So my last semester, they were able to take like 1 or 2 classes and study for the exam. Well, I had to take like 21 hours because I realized if I don't graduate in May, I'm going to be up here by myself in the summer. All my friends are going to be gone somewhere. And so what I did, I graduated in May. I started studying for the CPA exam that summer. And so I studied. I started in June or July, and I finished up the next May. But now I took. I was working. I was traveling a lot, so it wasn't hard for me. I studied on the road. It wasn't a big deal. I got married during that time too, so I took a little. That took some time. All that as well, but it was about a year of time. Now I wouldn't study every day for a year. Don't get it all there. But I put in the time, and so I did. I passed them all first time.
What area of the county would you suggest going to first if you're just starting out?
When you say area, you mean want to have? I'm gonna run out of material. I better ask questions quick.
Like Arlington or
Yeah. First off, what I would say is you need to do what you enjoy. Okay, you need to enjoy it first because Carol and Susan will tell you you're gonna spend a lot of time doing it. So you need to make sure you enjoy it. Really auditing versus tax or whatever. I got a math. I said I got my master's. I had an emphasis in tax. Well, I didn't use that. I was all audit for the first 7 years of my career. But that tax base, when I transitioned, we started merging and growing. My client base, I've added tax and general service stuff. So having that component too has been very helpful. Find what you enjoy. If you get in a tax class and that's more in line with what you want to do, focus there. Take an audit class, you dig that, go audit. I would say one way or another. It's really you gotta like it. You gotta want to do it. It's just because it's going to be your career. I will say, if you're a CPA, everybody thinks all you do is tax returns anyway. And everybody thinks all you do is tax returns. And first 5 years of my career, I probably did 10 tax returns, including my own. Now I do a lot, but there's this thought that all CPAs do is they just work here in tax season and tax returns. There's so much more to the industry than that. I told you our banking practice. We do so much stuff that's outside of audit and tax. It's a lot of consulting type thing. So much you can do.
People think that everybody that is a CPA knows about tax. So if tax is not your thing, and you've got to early on develop a way to say when you're at a party and somebody asks you about tax stuff that I don't work in the tax part of the practice and I do other things, but I'll be glad to connect you with somebody that does. You don't need to try to pretend like you know about tax if you don't.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't pretend to be a financial statement presentation wizard because I'm not. I can do basic accounting statements and do them pretty well, but I certainly don't know all of the real intricacies of some of these weird kind of accounts that have sprung up.
That's right. We're the size firm. We're pretty heavily diversified. So we've got a few people who specialize. I got a guy who helps me with the banking practice. 100% of his time is banking related for the most part. He does all bank stuff. But we're even me. I've got a lot of banking practice, but I still do a lot of tax work, and I still do. The key though is if you get to that point, I've got a lot of resources around me, people I work with. So this is another good point. Even if where you are now, surround yourself with people smarter than you. Seriously, when I interview somebody or I hire somebody, I want to find somebody smarter than I am because it's only going to make you better. So surround yourself with people who are support system for you. Okay? That's key.
Are y'all hiring? And not that, I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
Are y'all hiring?
Yeah, we're always looking. So we're not on a. Well, that was Susan talking. But I didn't miss anybody there. If I missed, y'all tell me.
How does the reimbursement work when you're traveling, whenever you were doing the banking audits?
You mean the firm reimbursed for my travel costs? Basically, here's how that works. Typically, if a company engages you to come do some work for them and get to travel there, well, that firm will pay that cost. Okay, so what we would do is, we can still do it now. I did one today, file an expense report, and we submit it to somebody in the firm. They reimburse you, okay, and that cost gets billed to the client. Okay, so for the most part, if you travel for work and it's a client-driven travel arrangement, that client's foot the bill for that, and then the firm will charge them for that cost and they'll reimburse you. Question? I'm possible. Get money, you better ask.
So, I know you said you're in the financial part of the CPA business. When you join a firm, do you get to pick your specialization, or do they just put you somewhere?
Depends. You can always put a request in, but you're gonna go where the hours are needed. They're not gonna. This is not us. And say, let's just say it was us. Let's just say you wanted to go work in our banking practice, and I didn't need you in banking, but I'm not gonna let you hang out until I need you in banking. You're gonna go somewhere where you're needed. So it's good to have ideas of what you want to do and where you want to go and how you want to do it. And ideally, you find a place where that fits and that works. But like when I started, I really didn't. When I interned, I'd done kind of split half tax, half auditing type stuff. I didn't really, like I said, I was supposed to be on governmental audit. I ended up on a bank audit. So it's good to have an idea and a thought. It's also good early on in your career. Susan and Carol can tell you this too, is to get exposed to a lot of different things, so you have a basis to make a long-term decision. Okay. Early on in your career, you will get exposed to different things because you'll get thrown a lot of different things. You'll be kind of pushed to where the need is, and then over time, you'll develop a skill set that fits you in a certain spot, and that's where you'll stay. Okay. A lot has to do with the size firm you are too. Now, larger firms, you're going to be more specialized. Smaller firms, you're going to wear all kind of hats. So a lot of it too has to depend on the size firm you go to. Where you go. Does that answer your question?
So I have a question. I started out at Mullen and Jenkins, and then I went somewhere else, and then somewhere else after that. How do you feel like Mullen and Jenkins prepared you for your next career?
It prepared me. Being in the preparation for me was in the people. Guys, partner there, Barry Cohen, who I spent a lot of time with. Barry retired right when I was leaving. A lot of communication skill stuff I learned from Barry Cohen. So it's more, with him, he had a profound impact on my career. Barry's retired, he still works on him, I still talk to him, we have mutual clients. He had a profound impact on me. Being in the banking practice was very important for me. Going to Hutchins and Huckabee, having to manage their practice, I was prepared for that because the 5 years I spent doing nothing but that. So it prepared me to where I was able to go and transition to another firm and be ready to go. But the people, Barry Cohen comes to mind immediately. He was profound impact on my career. Outside of, also my dad, my granddad, some of those people, he's been an important part of some things I learned. He didn't know he was teaching me. You travel with people, you spend a ton of time with them, you learn how people do things. He was very good at what he did. Susan Carroll can tell you he's well known in the banking industry. So I learned a lot. I'm going to have Susie that question.
I don't want to take it.
How would you compare public accounting and corporate?
Yeah, they're different worlds. They really are. You think about public accounting, you are there to support a wide array of people and clients, and you're on I'm on the team of every client I serve. Okay, well, if you're in private industry, you're on one team. You're on that team, the company you work for. Okay, so it's different when you're providing service to the general public versus for single group of owners. So that's a big difference there. Now the work's going to differ too. Now you could be in with a private company and do their tax return, do all their bookkeeping, which is similar with what you may do for a public accounting firm. Biggest difference is who you're serving. Serving a general population of people, of groups, of multiple clients. Being maybe the CFO for a bunch of people, as opposed to being CFO or controller for one single group of owners. I've never worked. I do a lot of work for, obviously, private companies or companies. I've never worked for one. It's just your makeup and what you're comfortable with and where you want to be. A lot of people go from public accounting to private. It happens a lot. You see it. Susan Kerr will tell you. A lot of times you'll see where a CPA may do the audit for a client. That client may hire them. They may hire that person. We see that a lot where they build relationships and they get hired by that company. So a lot of transition. People usually go public and then transition into private. That's how it normally goes. Very good question. That's it.
Do you like the tax side or the banking side better?
I will say I've done banking for so long. Man, I hate to use this word. I don't sound. That's more my expertise. But I do a lot of tax work, and I enjoy the change of pace. I think where I am now, I wouldn't want to be just stuck in one all the time. So it's nice to be able to do both. Now it's taking me some time to get to that point. Having that base and having a master's in tax really has helped me. I've been able to fall back on some things. I enjoy doing both. It's nice having a change of pace and seeing things differently. And honestly, they work together a lot. The work I do for banks, believe it or not, a lot of my tax knowledge is very helpful. We do a lot of tax returns for banks. A lot of that stuff is very helpful for them. Same thing with my general. I understand banking, so my general client needing to make a lending or banking decision or having questions about something, they work well together for me. Now, there's folks in our firm who do nothing but tax and that sort of thing. I like the opportunity to do both. It's a good change of pace. And I just wouldn't want to be where I am now. I like having options and being able to do some tax, in with my general banking plans. But now, with a lot of the banking stuff, I manage it, so I'm not necessarily in the weeds every day doing all the detailed banking stuff. I'm to the point where I'm having to manage, a lot of stuff. So it's good. It's good to do both. Very good question.
So I have another question.
Okay.
Accountants you think of them as numbers people, but really what you're doing now is you're kind of a salesman.
Very, very good point. Good question. I don't care if you own a hardware store or if you own a grocery store or if you're a CPA, you're selling a product. Okay. My product is accounting services. Okay, it's not tangible. You can't pick it up. Well, some of it is tangible and produce something, but we're in sales. We are. It's just a different product than the guy at the hardware store may sell in public accounting. Okay. Now, I didn't start day one and start, prospecting with clients, trying to pick up work. It's a transition, and that's something else that some people are more inclined to than others. But the key thing is, number one, know what you're selling, know your product, okay, and be proud of your product. I can't sell a client on our work if I don't believe in it. Okay, just like the grocery store owner can't sell his cereal if he knows it's not any good. Okay, but you're right. Public accounting, as you go in your career and you become a partner and you get to where production matters, you are selling. You sure are. Okay. So it's important to believe in your product, know what you're selling, and just be honest with people. Honestly, golly, it's so important. If you try to, BS somebody on what you're doing, people see right through it. But you're right, we're sales. We are in sales. Very, very good point.
We probably could have one more question if anybody has one.
How would you describe like the average day on your job?
It's seasonal. Like for me, with what I do now, I'm an early riser. Okay, so I also have 3 small kids, so a lot of that's because of that. But I'm an early riser, so I do a lot of early on organizational type things of kind of planning and getting things set early on. Checking in on people to make sure we're kind of where we are on things where we need to be. Now, I'm also in the weeds working too, so there's a lot of that going on each day. And then I'm a planner. So I've got my list of what I want to get done, when it needs to get done. Now, I will say, fires pop up, and that doesn't always happen. So as far as my typical day, I would say I'm up, I'm organizing, figuring out what's got to, where we got to be, who's got to be where, seeing where we are on things, and I'm just in the weeds working basically whenever that project I've assigned myself for that day. Now, that's also where I'm in my career. Now you're going, 10 years ago, I was just getting up and go work and go, and I had less management responsibilities. Now I got a lot of management responsibilities, not just our people, but I've got a client base who's calling and things pop up, and so it throws you off course. Early in my career, it was getting up, go to work, just work. Now it's more get up, organize, work some, answer a phone call, work some, return emails, work some. It's less fluid. But it's not sad. Good question.
What kind of dress code do most of your offices have, or does it depend on where they're going and what you're doing?
Well, one thing that has happened, one positive change, when I first started, we wore ties every day. Okay. I guess they stopped that about a year or so after I stopped. In general, the business environment, outside of maybe an attorney here and there and a banker, has gotten pretty casual. It really has. So for us, we are what we call a business professional. So I may wear, dress pants and a collared shirt or something like that. Now, Fridays we're laid back. You can wear jeans on some Fridays if you want to. Now, our dress code is also office driven. Our Blakely office is a lot more laid back with the dress code because their client base is more agricultural. If they don't want to see you in there in a full suit and tie, they want to feel comfortable talking to you. So our Blakely office is a little more laid back in the dress code. All meeting cordial because of our client base is a little more formal. Now we're not wearing ties every day, but it's generally dress pants and dress shirt, and it's more what we call business professional. We do wear jeans on Fridays. But overall, the industry, just business industry in general, has gotten very laid back in its work time. A lot of firms are, if you don't have a client you're meeting with, you don't have to go somewhere, wear whatever you want to. Now, that is our only rule with that is if you go to a client, they wear a tie, we wear a tie. We dress with the client. So if I go to a bank client, they wear ties there, they're not wearing a tie. But other than that, pretty laid back. Been a very, very good change. Very good change. The ties went away for the most part.
My son used to say that he kept gray pants and a navy blazer and a shirt and tie on the back of his door in case he needed it when he was in public account.
Yeah, I'll keep a sports coat handy. Or a lot this time of year, it's cold anyway, so I'll wear. If something comes up, I gotta wear one. But I don't wear a tie unless I've got to. But that's not unusual. Most CPA firms, most attorneys and bankers, they've all transitioned to this business professional, business casual type thing where, a lot of stuff y'all are wearing now is the purpose of it.
Well, we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all.